Recording now a 10 to follow. I'm going to skim through this fairly quickly. I've done a written column for gg.co.uk, so I'm going to put a link for that somewhere up on the screen, and I'll put a link in the description as well. So if you want to read the in-depth reasoning behind all these horses, please do go check out that article. But for the purpose of a quick and easy to digest, maybe people just want to add it to their tracker. Maybe people just want to listen to me waffle for a tiny bit. I'm going to run you through the 10 horses I've put on the horses to follow list. So without further ado, we'll kick straight on with Lucia for Nicky Henderson. I've touched on this mare before. I really liked her going into the Mares Novice last year. She was so weak on the exchange in the build up to the festival and on the day, really. But she did quite well to finish fourth, I think, in the end. Current mark of 136, 137, I think. She's got loads of wiggle room on there. I think she's a high 140s mare. Nicky Henderson has got a habit of targeting handicaps at Newbury. The Jerry Fielding's in there, an intermediate handicap. So there's a race I think that she's going to pick up along the way. I think she will win a handicap. He's talked about running her in graded mares races. We'll see what he does to fit that in with the program, but I can't imagine he's going to let this mark go unnoticed, and I want to get a bit of that as well. So fingers crossed we can get stuck into Lucia at some point. Again, there's some more depth in the article, so go have a little look. Teahupoo, that was mentioned in the anti-post bet last week, is in the column. I was preparing this while the stable tours and stuff were going on, so he was going to be put up in this column as a bet as well, but I got it out to you guys beforehand, didn't I? It's obvious reasons, really. I think this horse is definitely one to keep an eye on because I do think come the spring he is going to be the Stayers Hurdle winner. It'll be interesting to see how things go. Hatton's Grace, even what happens after Cheltenham, because I think Punchestown's a little bit too speedy for him. He does need a bit of a test. Don't necessarily think he needs the ground as bad as everyone thinks he does. He just needs the real test. So good performance in the Stayers last year. C's up there. I think the 6-to-1's more than fair, especially now we know what we know with Gaelic Warrior. Chianti Classico is another one. If anyone that watches the GG Weekend Watch on Thursdays would have seen a few weeks back before Chepstow, I said this horse could be an Ultima type. Maybe this horse, right? There's loads of horses that were pulled up in the Albert Bartlett. It could be the horses that didn't finish. There was 11 of the 21 that didn't finish in the Albert Bartlett. It might be that the good horses are in there. Corbett's Cross was in there too. Embassy Gardens, there's a few. But Chianti Classico does obviously look like a much better chaser. There's still some wiggle room off the mark that he's been given, even though he's been hiked, I think, £8 for that win at Chepstow. Is he actually going to be an Ultima horse or not? I don't really know, but he might end up like a happy-go-lucky where he didn't get his fortunes at the festival. He went and won at Aintree, mopped up there. Just looks a nice horse. There's options for this horse. Running the October and November meeting is what he did with Does He Know. Went to the Reynoldstown. So where this horse is going to go, I don't know, but you'd expect potentially some more Cheltenham experience, but it's not the be-all and end-all Cheltenham, is it? But definitely think this will be a handicap horse in the spring that might pick up a point. Hometown Boy for Stuart Edmonds was a horse that was well backed a couple of years ago back at Aintree. Hasn't been seen since. He's now chasing. He won that handicap off of about 136, I think it was. He's 138 now as a reassessed chase rating. Quite a few of you would have seen that he's been entered up. Not been like officially declared because of the ground, things like that, but they're probably minding him now. He's a bit of an older boy, does like okay quick ground, but I think he wants a little bit of ease in there as well. So he's 100% got at least a couple of races in off of him. The fact that he's been ready and not actually declared suggests that he's ready to go first time up. He is ended up this weekend at Cheltenham, so interesting. Chapeau de Soleil is the only one from Willie Mullins, well, one of two from Willie Mullins, I think, that is mentioned in here. He wasn't mentioned in Willie Mullins' stable tour for novice hurdlers, but I don't particularly care. I just want to talk about this horse because he's a bit of a forgotten one as far as I'm concerned. Was favourite for the bumper at one point. Similarly to like a Fernie Hollow in the beginning, didn't look like he was that straightforward. I think he's only going to improve for that sort of stuff. Had a big gap between his last bumper run before he ran in the champion bumper. He went off a massive price. If you go back and watch that race, he had two behind him on the turn for home, and he still managed to pick a load of them off. I think his finish position was quite good. He managed to stay the same sort of pace. I didn't lose any ground on the 4th, 5th, and 6th. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd were just quicker horses. This horse is bred to want further. He's got back on the line in there. He was 3rd or 2nd in the National Hunt Chase. Chapeau de Soleil wants a trip. I'm excited about him. Slemmy forgot any horse, maybe. Firefox for Gordon Elliott is a second season novice this year. This horse ran in a maiden hurdle and just looked like he didn't know how to jump, how to do anything. Didn't look like a ready-made jumper. Very quickly and swiftly, they put him into bumpers, just went about his business in that sphere. But he's going to be a better horse now, hopefully hurdling. He's got to be better than he was before. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with him as well. Yeah, again, the notes are in the column if you want to read some more depth in there. There's a few points on there that I think are worth making. Favre de Champ, though, he is an older horse. So same like Hometown Boy. This is going to be an 8-year-old potentially going chasing. Could end up like an Altamore or a Kim Muri type horse. We know Gordon seems to do quite well in that race. Might also end up as a Potempsy type horse because I can't believe for the life of me this horse didn't run in the Martin Pipe instead of the Albert Bartlett. Now, I know he is bred and looks like the size of a chaser, but he is quite keen. And off that handicap mark, I think he's about 137. He looks like he's got wiggle room within there as well. So how they play it with him, I don't know. He probably will be a stay and chaser. If they do decide to try and opt and qualify him for attempts, could be interesting to see what they do there. But again, lots to be excited about with this horse if they can keep him going. Willie Mullin's second horse is Minella Kakuna. This horse was twice second at the big festivals, wasn't it? Punchestown, Cheltenham, behind the Nice Guy. Both of those two missed things after, but Minella Kakuna did come out and run in a race right where he was beaten by Classic Getaway last season, Novice Chasing. Now, if you look at this horse, he was beaten when fancied as a hurdler when he first ran. He just progressed with every single run, got better and better and stronger and stronger. And I think the same will be true when he's chasing. In fact, he's got that tiny bit of experience will stand him in good stead to maybe be a little bit more forward to begin with. But I reckon he's a proper horse. He is 7 going 8, but that size, maturity, and a little bit of experience, I think he's going to be set to exploit it. So he might be in the slow burner type horse that is become a little bit forgotten come the spring. So remember him for now. Florida Dreams had to make the list. I tipped this horse up when it won the Aintree bumper. Danny McKinnon, or McMenamin, sorry, his finish and like position with him, right? It was on the rail at Aintree that they close into a little bit of like, it's like the elbow essentially. But he was really brave to know that he had enough horse to get there. He could have easily had the door shut on him. Go back and watch if you haven't seen it before. He looks like a horse that wants at least the middle trip. Now, this, I don't know how good a novice hurdler he's going to be, but he'll mop up the Northern Circuit. Nicky Richards knows how to train a good one. So Florida Dreams is definitely one to be excited about. Ignore the fact that it was a big price at Aintree. I fancied him. And then the last one, Slade Steel for Henry de Bromhead. Rob Kerr has mentioned, well, Rob Aitchison was on that We're Going Chasing. Go and check that out because he's given notes on all the horses that they own. He mentioned that they fancied him to beat Ballyburn at Punchestown. Now, obviously, there's loads of hype around this horse, Ballyburn. We'll see how good he is. But the fact that they before then thought he was that good, maybe it's a good positive sign for Ballyburn. But I think for this Slade Steel, it just goes to show how good they thought he might be. Says he's going to start 2 miles, but might not stay there. So it could end up like a middly type distance horse. They've also suggested that he might not be grade 1 caliber. So who knows? This horse could turn into a Martin Pipey one. But I think Slade Steel's still as good as they thought he was to begin with. I'm excited to see him this season. So Teahupoo, Lucia, I've done it in the wrong order, but Lucia, Teahupoo, Chianti Classico, Hometown Boy, Chapeau de Soleil, Firefox, Favori de Champdou, Minella Kakuna, Florida Dreams, and Slade Steel are the 10 to follow for this season. As I say, go and read the article. It'll be on there. I'm going to start the Cheltenham Anti-Post insighty bit for GG as well, where I'll be talking about the racing that's coming up, where some angles or bets might be coming in there. So go check that out. And then there'll be lots more content coming up on the channel. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys again soon. Be lucky.